Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from PaulthePoke.com. Today's topic, Sanhedrin completes abbreviated first fruits ceremony, Hebrew year 5780, Gregorian year 2020. I'm going to take a look at Leviticus 23 verses 9 through 14, directions for first fruits. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the sons of Israel and say to them, when you enter the land which I'm going to give you and reap its harvest, then you shall bring in the sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest to the priest. He shall wave the sheaf before the Lord for you to be accepted." Think about that. Insert Jesus before the Father. On the day after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. Now on the day when you wave the sheaf, you shall offer a male lamb 1 year old without defect for a burnt offering to the Lord. Its grain offering shall then be 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil, an offering by fire to the Lord for a soothing aroma. With its drink offering, 1/4 of a hin of wine, until this same day, until you have brought in the offering of your God. You shall eat neither bread, nor roasted grain, nor new growth. It is to be a perpetual statute throughout your generations and all your dwelling places. So, sounds like a party. Let's go have a barbecue. We're going to grill some stuff and drink some wine and have some bread. Doesn't sound like a bad deal. Who says God's no fun? But anyway. So, acknowledging social distancing practices, the Sanhedrin has completed a toned-down version of barley harvest and Omer wave offering. The Sanhedrin requested Rabbi Aaron Yitzchak Stern to be in charge of the abbreviated ceremony. And here's a quote from Rabbi Stern. This was from Breaking Israel News, is where I got the quote. And I quote, "We did the best we could. And what we were able to do was as close to the biblical commandment as possible. It is a pity the government prevented us from performing the complete ritual on the Temple Mount, which is currently empty." And that's Rabbi Stern from Breaking Israel News. So with this quote, it appears the Sanhedrin was not allowed to sacrifice the Passover lamb on the Temple Mount. So they're still trying. And with this ceremony, the counting of the Omer has begun. And the culmination of the counting will close 50 days later at Shavuot, or Feast of Weeks, or Pentecost, whichever one you want to call it. It's the last spring feast. You can click on this link here below in orange. Click on it, and you can see all the different posts in regards to Shavuot, Feast of Weeks. And this one's specifically on the counting of the Omer and what's involved when counting the Omer. Count to 50. And the law requires that 2 loaves of bread be brought to the temple. The grain of the loaves is from wheat. So, first fruits is barley, represents Christ. Grain loaves of wheat. Some would argue that this is looking at believers who are Jewish and the Goyim or the Gentiles, however you care to refer to that. So, Leviticus 23, verse 17, "You shall bring from your dwelling places 2 loaves of bread to be waved, made of 2/10 of an ephah. They shall be of fine flour, and they shall be baked with leaven as first fruits to the Lord." So, leaven is sin. So, as the bride of Christ, yes, we are sinful. He took the sin out of us, covered our sin. So, make no mistake, the Sanhedrin continues to look at completing sacrifices on the Temple Mount. They want to make the Shavuot offering on the Temple Mount in 50 days. The Sanhedrin also wants to make the second Passover offering on the Temple Mount next month. So they're not stopping. There's going to be likely increased political pressure, and we know how this ends. The temple will be built, and these offerings will start again. The question is when and how that comes about. The timing, nobody knows. I'd say just the Father, but it's rounding into shape. There is a group of people who's putting pressure on the Israeli government. Hey, we want to do our sacrifices on David's threshing floor, what they believe to be the Temple Mount. So, again, breaking Israel news, barley offering prepared despite coronavirus limitations. And, every time I put something like this up, there's several folks out there in the Christian community who wants to remind everybody, hey, we don't need to do these sacrifices. Jesus died for sin. Yes, that's true. I'll also remind these folks it is also Jesus who claims these things must happen, and they are prophetic. He's the one stating the prophecy that the temple will be rebuilt again, and he's also the one stating the prophecy, quoting Daniel, that these sacrifices will take place again. And he knew he was going to be the sacrifice, but yet he still put that forward that these things must happen as part of prophecy. So just think about that. Consider it. If you enjoy these sorts of things, please feel free to refer others to PaulthePoke.com. Type in your email address down here by the blue block. Sometimes there's a gray block. Sometimes there isn't. Type in an email address, get notification every time we put something out. And this is going to be archived under Prophecy Sanhedrin Spring Feasts down the right-hand side of the column. There's Prophecy, there's Sanhedrin, there's Spring Feasts. Click on those links and you can see articles that have been put up in regards to this. So, again, we've made it through the Spring Feasts and of the three close ones with Passover, unleavened bread, and first fruits. Next one's going to be Shavuot. Less than 50 days now. So appreciate you guys following along. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.